Well, it's been a busy old summer at Brighton and Hove Albion. So many outs and quite a few ins too. We're preparing our bolstered squad for 3 games a week because after a cracking end to last season, we've got European football on the way and in addition, a bonus curtain raiser today. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 9 of Building Brighton with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Liverpool in the Community Shield, which for some reason is earlier than it was in real life, which means we've then got 2 weeks to the Premier League season. But that isn't the star attraction today. It is all about transfers. We've got about 3 pages worth of players that have left the club. I didn't realise how many Brighton had out on loan, how many squad players they had on big wages. And we've been trying to do a bit of a clear out. Add to that, we've tried to bring in enough players to give us a strong squad this year and a few promising youngsters coming back from their loans. And it has been one hell of a hectic summer down at Brighton. You can see a few little snippets of what we've done around the page here, but if you're looking forward to finding out all of it, then please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM22 content. We had our final episode of the Viborg save yesterday. It was a thrilling one too. You can find it in the eye above. What it means though is from next week, every weekday, we'll have this save until the end of next season. And then hopefully the FM23 beta. Keep your eyes peeled for our series announcements this weekend, in addition to all of our top 3s which are up in the eye above. But thank you very much for coming along for another season, and it starts in style. It's all about transfers. We got given a budget in the end of about £40 million to work with. The wages, we were pretty much on the money anyway. So it was all about how many players could we get out when they came back from loan, and how much would that give us to spend, and how much wage bill would we have left. So let's go and have a look at what we've done, and we start with a couple of bits of news on the staffing front. So a slightly frustrating summer at the start in terms of staffing because we lost one of our best scouts and performance analysts to top 6 traditional clubs in Arsenal and Chelsea. We have managed to replace them both though, and in terms of the scout, Benjamin Webber, yes it's a big wage commitment, but it's also a big upgrade. A 39-year-old who almost swaps, he comes in from Chelsea and he's got magnificent attributes. Having worked for PSG and Borussia Dortmund, I think he might be a man that can help us in recruitment. Something that Brighton are famed for, of course, and something we've tried to stick to. We've tried our best where we've had acceptable offers to let players go. There's a few of the bigger boys sniffing around some of our stars, and I'm sticking with the realistic Brighton model. Every signing we've made has been with a view of getting value for money or with a value of making a profit in the future. And that's the way Brighton work. We'll have a look at the players we've brought in a moment, but let's start with the one player from the senior team that got released. And I'm sure you know who it is by now. Danny Welbeck just couldn't get going. He couldn't get a run of games together without injury. I hope he can genuinely for Sheffield United in the Championship. But what a professional he was. Really good in the mentoring groups and off the pitch. And I was looking forward to managing him, but just didn't work out. He could not stay fit. And then when Adeyemi came to form, he couldn't get back in. But there are many more outs. And I mean many more outs. Let's get to all the transfers. Now, there's a couple of spoilers for the ins here as we go back to the start of the window. The good thing with it being mid-July is we have got most of our work done early, but we're going to have to take a deep breath because there are a lot of players to get through here. And accept my apologies in advance for all the youth players we're going to gloss over. So in terms of notable names this summer, Jeremy Sarmiento went back out on loan. Jason Malumbi was the first of those loaned out players to get his permanent move. He's gone to West Brom for £3 million. We'll come back to Andrew because he's a signing that's then been loaned out. Andrea Carboni on loan to Bournemouth. We didn't get that permanent offer we were looking for. So I just hope he has a really good year. And then maybe we've got someone who can step back into the first team next season. And then further on, we've got a section of first teamers that left for good fees. So Matt Clark, someone that those of you who follow me on Twitch will know well, was captain of our Derby side for a little while in that one. He's gone to West Brom for £3.6 million. A decent player, not a great player, and for me not physical enough for the Premier League. We found the same in the Derby save too. He's joined at West Brom though, by both Malumbi and Aaron Connolly, former Luton loanee, Republic of Ireland international, not a natural enough goal scorer, a good player, not a great player. And given one of the young strikers we were able to get in, him and Danny Welbeck were able to leave the club. He's a good player. We got 10 million quid for him. And I think there's a tiny sell on as well. So we might yet make a bit more out of that. The biggest deal, though, for a player we didn't need was Abdullah Sima. I loved watching him for Slavia Prague a couple of years ago. £12 million though. He's naturally a winger on this. Doesn't really suit the way we play. And not good enough as a striker to push his way in. So as much as I like watching him in real life and would have given him a chance, here we have to be realistic and he moves on. Enoch Mwepu, one of the stars from the latter stages of last season. I think the first of those that was actually heavily involved in our first team. He goes to West Ham for £12.5 million. He's alright, but we've got better players in to replace him. And Mwepu, someone we tried to get rid of the first half of last year, was really good for us towards the end of the season, but he was never going to play many games. And because I couldn't get someone else off the books, he had to be a bit of a casualty. Next up is Jason Steele, who moves for a free to Reading, but they're paying most of his wages. Well, they're paying him £3,500 a week, but he only asked for about £6,000 from us, so we've done all right out of that one. And then Reda Kadra, £3.3 million. He's gone to Everton, where he'll continue his development. And Jensen Weir, potentially, we could get £2.5 million from Celtic, but none of them were ever going to make it to our level, so it was fair enough that we let them move on. That brought in about £45 million. You can see some of it we've spent there, but let's move on because there's another page and a half of outs yet. Let's move down the senior ones again. Florin Andone, who I think was on loan at Celtic, has gone to Cadiz for £3.5 million. Actually not a bad backup option, but given one of the young stars we were able to get in, all of the other strikers were blown out the water. Baluta is one of the senior players we knew was leaving on a free, just edged up a little bit of the wage bill there. Ryan Fredericks moves on after one season at the club, and it was a good season too. We bought him in as a backup. He ended up starting the FA Cup final and doing a solid job in that. So he gets his winner's medal, and now he moves on for first team football. We sold him, I think, for £300,000 less than we bought him. I think that's a fair trade-off. Really happy with what he did for us, but he was always a stopgap signing. So good luck to him in the future. Hayden Roberts has gone out on loan again to continue his development at the back. He's gone this time to Zaragoza in the second tier in Spain. So hopefully he'll be able to start playing out from the back and developing those passing skills. But I think before long, he would be a Brighton player in truth. Further down, we have got Gel Sherpen, who was a goalkeeper inexplicably on £20,000 a week. No idea where some of these guys got their wages from. Maybe it's Brighton's recruitment working early and FM not spotting it yet, because we have seen that in the past. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but we couldn't keep him on that wage. After him, we loaned out a few youngsters, including Leo Ostergaard, who is a centre-half that's not far away. But again, that physical edge, the acceleration, the balance, the agility, not quite there as a whole package, and he's not great playing out from the back. So another season out on loan, and hopefully at Huesca he'll do quite well. Moise Caicedo has gone on loan to Malaga. I just hope he can stay fit for a year and get regular football, because I'd argue we actually harmed his development last season. And then Andy Zakiri, who's gone to Leganes. A lot of players off to Spain. Again, another one I almost kept as backup striker, but not quite as good as the man we got in. Mark Leonard went on loan to Morecambe, only mentioning him because he's another one we've managed on Twitch before. He was with us at Ballymena in FM21. And then, the shock of the summer, Mikhail Kabravnik is on £34,000 a week, the fullback. And in FM, that is not reflected by his abilities. 2-star ability, 2.5 potential. Ipswich have loaned him and paid half of his wages, which I'm delighted with. They've also then paid a loan fee, which equates to another 20-odd%. So we're essentially getting 70% of his wages back. I couldn't turn that down. Dennis Undav, someone who's been mentioned in the comments before, he's gone on loan to Millwall because, again, great finisher, not quite got that physical edge. To play in a one up front on his own, I didn't think he was going to do the job. So 20 grand a week off the wage bill and championship football to give him experience. And then the final two deals of the summer, Matt Everett went to Norwich, a youngster. Not worth a mention generally, but star of our Dover team in the head coach very early on in FM22. He was part of a front three that is still amongst my favourites this year, so he'll always hold a place in my heart. And in Kauro Mitoma, another one of those that was somehow on 20 grand a week. Not a very good footballer. We got £1 million for him. I can't be too disappointed. So that is all of the outs that have been done. Equates to just over 50 million in ins. And you can see we've spent 46 million on 4 players then. And at the end of last year, another 15 odd million. So our net spend is only about £10 million. And for it, I think we've got really good players in. and a really solid squad, and is actually a bit stronger and deeper than it was last season in terms of the players that are here. We have kept a couple of the players that have come back from loan as well, but there's interest around top players, so it might not be over yet. As it is though, we meet the ins, starting with Andrew Omobamidele. He comes in from Norwich for £7 million, goes immediately back out on loan for the year. 20 years of age, great young centre-half, and hopefully continues his development. We've instructed them to play him as a ball-playing defender, to hopefully work on that passing and that vision, but otherwise he's got everything. And he might yet end up being recalled. We'll address why in a moment. The second one that came in was a little bit of a cheat code for me, really. He was in the scout reports as normal. He was well known as a player out of contract last summer. But we paid 95 grand for the privilege to speak to him a week early. And that's what got the deal over the line. So James Tarkowski comes in from Burnley. It's an interesting one. He's rated terribly by our scouts and our coaches. They rated him worse than Matt Clark, who we sold, who you've seen. And they've rated him worse than some of the players we've loaned out as well, Carboni being one. I'm not sure. All of his attributes, bar maybe vision, for a ball-playing defender, look really good. And I can't quite work out why he's not 3-star at least as a central defender on defence. He's an England international, he's a very good footballer, and as part of our squad for Thursday nights, maybe coming in for Dunk as the leader of the back three. I can't see anyone better than him for that role. I think he's a fabulous signing, and I'm not going to listen to the coaches on that one. And then the third very early one we got in before the season clicked over was Dominik Livakovic, a goalkeeper, Croatian #1. And with Robert Sanchez, I promised him to start the season as Premier League first choice, but we needed better than Jason Steele, and Livakovic is certainly that. 3.5-star ability, a regular for Croatia, a brilliant footballer, European experience with Dinamo as well, which is important, and a great personality too. He's a proper good goalkeeper. I think he will eventually become first choice, and there is a chance that Sanchez could leave yet because West Ham are desperate for him, but I'm really pleased with that signing. So Dominik Livakovic may be the new #1 in the future. And then moving on to the latter half of the window, we bring in a player we were linked with in January, one of those right backs that was scouted on deadline day. Kelvin joins from Brazil, £9 million release clause, 3-star ability, 4.5 potential. Do you know what I like about him? He's the complete opposite to Lamptey. Lamptey is that quick, young, attacking defender who likes to get forward, and Kelvin's an all-rounder. We're training him as the wing-back because he's not completely comfortable there yet. But I think for Thursday nights and for the future, we've got a superstar. We'll certainly sell him for more than 9 million. So one of him or Rojas coming in, probably the no-brainer of the summer to be honest. The next three are much bigger. We've got a centre midfielder in who I'm a massive admirer of, a former wonder kid in this game. Maybe not reached the heights yet, but Sander Berger joins from Sheffield United. £19 million, potentially rising to 25. And it goes back to something I mentioned last year. We weren't a very big side. We weren't very physical. So getting an imposing 6'5" midfielder in, alongside Basuma, alongside Murder, gives us that extra advantage physically. And we had to do that. A really solid all-rounder. Probably fills that role that Murder and Lallana were rotating in. And comes in as a regular starter. He's a great footballer. He's a regular international. He's playing alongside the likes of Haaland for Norway. Well, here, he's going to be playing with the mighty Adeyemi. Hopefully he delivers the good. Still got more potential to grow into as well. Adam Hlozek is the other striker that joins the club. A well-known FM wonder kid by now. Our scouts picked him up, 6 million up front, 9 million after future fees. An official wonder kid, 6'1", adds the physically imposing element and 3-star ability. I've got to be honest, he looks very similar to where Adeyemi was at this point last year. So while he's not going to start every game at the moment with Adeyemi in such good nick, he is probably going to play Thursday nights, he is going to play the cup games, and I think in the future we've got ourselves a real gem. So we'll look at him making his debut later on today. And then the final one, it wasn't really a planned signing, it sort of came about because we had interest in some of our attacking mids. Alzate threw his toys out the pram and put in a transfer request. And when a wonder kid comes up for 12 million quid in a scout reports, I don't think you can say no. So Arsen Zakarian, a 19-year-old Armenian international midfielder, joins from Dinamo Moscow for 12 million. He's an attacking mid, he's a quality player, and he's another one for the future that the club are going to make money on. His agent is quite clever though. We nicked him on a release clause. He's now worth 72 to 90 million, and his agent got in a release clause of 79. So much like Adeyemi, I don't think they're going to be here for long, but it is the Brighton model, isn't it? We've signed him and Adeyemi for a combined 30 million, and they'll get sold for a combined, 170 odd. You can't turn that down. It's brilliant business. We've tried to stick to the Brighton model. All of the signings, bar Tarkowski on a free, are younger by their position. So all under 25s, or Livakovic, who's 27 for a keeper. And I think we've got a good squad ready to compete. So let me know in the comments what you think of those signings, what you think of the players going out, any surprises, and I'll show you the couple we've kept that have come back from loan as well. Because in addition to all of those, we have kept John Paul van Heck, who might have to go because he's refusing to sign a new deal in the final year of his contract. He's a really good defender, solid across the board, quality physically compared to some of the others. And I'm pretty sure Blackburn got promoted in this game and he was a key part of that. They did. So he's someone we'd definitely give a chance on Thursdays and just hope he'll sign a new deal. And the other one was Taylor Richards, who spent last year on loan at Birmingham in the Championship 2. He sort of had a nice progression. League 1 with Doncaster, Championship with Birmingham, now Premier League and Europa League with Brighton. 2.5 ability, 4.5 potential, and he's our fourth number 10. We've got a lot of good options this year. We've got them 4 and Gross, potentially one of them can drop in a bit deeper. But overall, I'm really pleased with the squad we've built, and I think we're ready for 3 games a week. That's my personal opinion. Let me know if you agree as we go and get into the Community Shield. A lovely curtain raiser, not the most important game. I'm going to try and start the majority of our first team and then maybe bring on lots of debutants off the bench. Back in a minute for the lineup. Well, we're back for the lineup, and as largely predicted, we've stuck with most of last year's squad from the start. Lots of new faces on the bench though. Very quickly, we have got some promises to let players go. Lewis Dunk is getting interest from Spurs. He was upset we rejected a transfer offer of around 42 million. We agreed to sell him if we get 60, which to be fair, for a 30-year-old centre-half who's good but not great, we can't turn that down, despite him being a club legend. So Lewis Dunk may yet be off. The same will occur for Robert Sanchez, because he is getting offers of about 30 million, and we've agreed to sell him if we get 42.5, which for the standard of goalkeeper, and with Livakovic in for a fraction of that instead, I mean, it's a huge offer, isn't it? We've also had a little issue with Adam Lallana, who's the joint highest earner at the club, but we just cannot get rid of him. Then a couple of the others, Alzate, Gross, getting interest and probably will go. But looking at the squad we start with, just Livakovic and Berger are new signings in the starting 11. On the bench, you've got Tarkowski, Kelvin, Zakarian and Hlozek, alongside youngsters Richards and Claridge. Add to that Solly March, but we get 6 subs in the Community Shield, so a lot of them will come on. The starting 11 though is Veltman, Dunk and Webster at the back 3 ahead of the new keeper. Lamptey and Kukurea still the wing backs. Basuma in alongside the new signing from Sheffield United. And then Trossard, McAllister and Adeyemi, the well-known front 3 by now. Let's go and submit the team. Against Liverpool we go. Can we frustrate them, making another boring final and get another shock Wembley win? Well, it's a strong Liverpool side today. They've just added the likes of Dybala and Kessie to the bench in case they need a little strength in depth. The rest of the squad is known very well. The full 11 was there at the start of the game. This is going to be tough against the English champions. There's no pressure on this. Let's tell the lads the same. Well, a very quick start from Liverpool, who are on the front foot in the very first minute. Henderson goes all the way back to Virgil van Dijk though, and they're starting their attack again as Robertson delivers to Salah at the back post. Heads it wide. Livakovic had it covered, but with a minute gone, Liverpool are a threat. So at the other end with 7 gone, we've got a corner and we know Sander Berger's the target and he nearly gets there. I think this is going to stand. At the back post we win a header. Berger gets a flick on it. Dunk and Adeyemi trying to attack it. And it's Lewis Dunk who ends up just volleying it in from a yard. It was a proper scramble, but this is what we talked about. We're now putting our corners to the back post with Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, Sander Berger there. 2 6'3" and a 6'5". You've then got Adeyemi poaching on the goal line. You've got a 6-foot defender in Veltman and a 6-foot midfielder in Basuma. They're pressing the goalkeeper and getting in the mix too. We have got a proper threat from them. And in a game where we're getting outplayed, we have got the higher expected goals. And crucially, we've got the lead. We're doing better than we did in the FA Cup final as we get the ball to Fabinho and Virgil van Dijk. And now we're going to have to get in our defensive shape because Robertson's flying forward again into Diogo Jota. And Lavakovic comes to the rescue. Great save from him. He's a phenomenal shot stopper. And hopefully he can keep that up here as Robertson takes the corner. Big men in the box. Sander Berge there to head away. This is going to be a big difference to our side. And normally when you play a player in that deeper midfield role, you often struggle with their average rating. And that knocks the confidence a bit. With Berge, he's going to pop up with goals and key defensive clearances. So that might actually help him in turn. At half-time, we somehow lead 1-0. And Liverpool, they don't seem to know what's hit them. It's set pieces that are deciding this game. So let's tell the lads to keep it going. We've created enough. We've just got to keep it tight at the back. And we're going straight from the kickoff, which isn't always a good sign, as Webster gets it in the back three to Basuma. He turns on the possession and he's got great support with him. Berge just sitting there. He knows he can go. Plays McAllister in. Through to Trossard. Great save by Alisson. Tips it wide for a corner kick. And again, this is our biggest threat. The more corners we have, the better. It's not pretty to watch as McAllister goes up. Webster can't win it. Trossard brings it down. Still a few in there. Sander Berge gets it. Back to Webster. To Berge again. Going wide down the left wing. Back to Cucurella in the ends. Just making sure we've kept someone back if he loses it. We have. It peters out. 2 expected goals though. Those set pieces are a big threat. And all of that, I've completely forgotten to mention Adeyemi, who last season, top scorer in the league, a brilliant player. We don't even have to create much for him here. We've just got to get set pieces and allow him the odd run in behind. And we should have a very solid year as Robertson gets down the left. We'll think about subs in a minute. Good delivery to Jota. Block to Henderson. Good save Lavakovic. Great block the third time Basuma. And Webster hacks it out for a throw. Last ditch defending to the core. And it's a corner kick to Liverpool. Robertson in. It's a great header. Ibrahima Konate scores it. And it's 1-1. Set pieces ruling the day. And they're back straight away with another corner. Liverpool into the front post. Basuma clears. Curtis Jones on the volley. Oh, it's a great strike. And now we're conceding goals galore from set pieces. We'll give it 5 more before making changes. I won't be broken-hearted if we lose this game, but it would have been nice. Let's get to changes because it's the final quarter and we'll get all of these new players on. So looking in defence, I'm going to give James Tarkowski a go for Adam Webster. Lamptey will come off for Kelvin on the right. I'm also looking at Trossard, who will be replaced by Zakarian, the new signing. Adeyemi will be replaced by Hlozek. And McAllister looks anxious, so maybe Richards for him. And then it will either be March for Cucurella or Claridge for Veltman. We'll decide that in 10 minutes' time. We're just over 10 to go. I know Cucurella's struggling, but I feel like with us losing the game, it's a great chance to get the kid on. So Tom Claridge will play 10 minutes, but we've given them a game. And for the season, that's probably a very good sign. Unfortunately, we've not got the luxury of bringing on Dybala with 10 minutes to go. But it's a 2-1 win for Liverpool. They will lift the Community Shield. But overall, I'm really pleased with that performance. As we get fitter, as we get stronger, and as new players settle in, I think we're going to be one hell of a threat. Hopefully we can cope with Thursday night football. We're not even going to watch them lift it, because Liverpool, Community Shield winners. We won the big one though, the FA Cup. We'll tell the lads we were pleased. It was a good performance. Now let's go and see when we're going to be back. And while we've certainly not got the luxury of a positive start on paper as we had last year, United away, Brentford away, tough trips, Wolves at home will be hard. We are going to be back in this condensed Winter World Cup season for Aston Villa at home and deadline day. Just because I think there's a threat one of our stars ends up leaving. If the offers come in, we're going to have to let them go. It's the Brighton model and I'm going to stick to it. So we're going to be back for that. Maybe some fireworks, maybe just a comfortable start to the season. If you're looking forward to it and you did enjoy that one, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you thought of the Community Shield final performance and more importantly, the absolute heaps of transfer activity. Do you think we've done well? Have I let any stars go? And more importantly, are the new signings going to make an impact? Let me know how you think we'll compete with Thursday nights and subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on to find out. Fingers crossed we can have a great year before the FM23 beta. Our save announcements are coming this weekend, so keep your eyes peeled for them. And all of our top threes with FM23 save ideas are up in the eye above. Ways to support the channel down in the description. A massive thank you for watching as always. But above my head now is my top 3 rebuilding jobs for FM23. I hope it gives you inspiration, and I'll see you back here for deadline day.